Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Clarified Moments. I'm just going to skip the whole introduction. I just need to get into this. It's been a while. I had to take a moment. You know, sometimes you got to do those things. So took a moment to, to refresh, to renew my mind, to get closer to my God. Let's talk about this insurrection. You know, that's the word of today. So over 20,000 troops are or were in the Capitol as of today because of what happened on the 6th, where a group of Americans, majority white, happened to break in the Capitol, for lack of a better term. And so now we've got to have 20,000 troops in the Capitol, supposedly for our safety. The hypocrisy so thick. So thick I can't even take it, guys. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. But I've been saying this in a lot of my other videos, so I'm going to try not to repeat myself, try not to ramble. But again, it's redundant. The double talk, double standard that we're experiencing right now. And these troops are no more than symbols. They're symbols of the Democratic Party having power. They want to exert their power. They want to show they have power. They want to show they have force. And if you don't line up, if you don't fit the narrative that they want to promote, that they want to use, that they want to exploit, then that's what they're going to do. They're going to use the military to get you in line. Now, these same people also, these same people that said walls don't work, now they got a wall around the Capitol. Nancy. But walls don't work. When it came to the border wall, they don't work. As a matter of fact, I think as of today, Biden is saying that he's ordered them to discontinue or to stop work on finishing the wall. But, you know, I'm not even tripping about that, because every president that comes in office, pretty much every president, especially if they have if they come in office and the previous administration has a different political view, they rescind all of the executive orders or all the policies that the previous administration had. So I expected them to do that anyway. But again, I find it to be double talk, double standard. No wall. Well, walls don't work, but let's put a wall around D.C. to protect us or protect human life and the safety of our citizens, or whatever they want to promote at the time. But anyway, let me move on. So, and even some politicians are advocating it permanently. Troops, the same troops, they're being vetted because they may have voted for Trump. And, of course, they happen to be white. And so we want to make sure that they're not part of the insurrection. And the crazy thing is, back in 2009, when there was a Muslim soldier who ended up killing a lot of his fellow soldiers, Americans, opened fire on them. I think he killed about 40 of them. It was said back then that you couldn't lump all Muslims in that category. And if you dare think that way, dare be suspicious, or much less say anything, then that wasn't appropriate. You was racist, and it wasn't going to be tolerated. But it's different now, because these troops the suspicions about them, so much so that we got to vet them. The suspicions about them they happen to support a different political group. And they push a different narrative than we like. Racism is racism, no matter who's doing it. Nobody's saying anything about them, again, using the military as political weapons. Nobody's saying anything about them advocating for secret police, where they can send them out and basically see if you are a part of the problem, the subjective problem, you know, because it's subject to what they think. Yet they said Trump was using the DOJ as his own personal go after people squad. But it's cool, again, if it's not you until it's you. Let's get back to this insurrection thing. So I also had a business partner just recently use this very term with me, because again, it's the word of the day. I've talked to him. I know I've talked to him, and I know this just happened, but it just felt weird for hearing it come out of his mouth, because that's just not a word that we say. And so, you know, he used this term, and I just had to respond. I had to say something, because he was using it in such a way that he thought I was going to co-sign, or he was expecting me to co-sign. And of course I didn't, because I don't agree with it. And I had to tell him, I said, listen, man, over the summer, we had billions of dollars of damage. Over 24 people died nationwide, probably more than that, including black people, police officers, innocent people, just trying to live their life. When they're not involved in any protests. They're not Antifa, they're not BLM, they're not police officers, they're not white supremacists. They just, you know what I'm saying? They just happen to be at the wrong place at the wrong time, trying to live their life. They end up getting killed. Federal buildings getting burnt up. They're trying to break into federal buildings. No mention of insurrection, no mention of anything wrong. Mostly peaceful protests. But when Trump calls in federal troops, it's looked at as racist, abuse of power, any other negative connotation they can attach to it. But now it's different. Federal troops are okay. Law enforcement is okay. Remember, defund the police? Systemically racist? What happened? Double talk, double standards, hypocrisies. One of the dudes that they are talking about that entered Washington, D.C., the dude in the Viking hat, I think his name was Jacob Cheney.
Hey! Fucking hey, man. Glad to see you guys. You guys are fucking patriots. Look at this guy. He's got covered in blood. God bless you. You good, sir? Do you need medical attention?
I'm good, thank you.
All right.
I got shot in the face. I got shot in the face with some kind of plastic bullet.
Any chance I could get you guys to leave the Senate wing?
We will. I've been making sure they ain't disrespecting the place.
Okay, just want to let you guys know this is like the sacredest place.
I know.
Hey, no, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take it. Sit in this chair because Mike Pence is a fucking traitor.
Well,
I'm not one to usually take pictures of myself, but in this case, I think I'm making an exception. Hey, you and the Ray, can you take a picture of me? I'm throwing my phone.
literally. Yeah, they ain't got a choice. There's 500,000 people here.
You want straight on?
You should be stopping us.
No. He's doing.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
He's doing the right thing.
One.
He's obeying his oath.
I'm making sure you guys don't do anything else. Now that you've done that, can I get you guys to walk out of this room, please?
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I would greatly appreciate it.
Hey, come on, man.
I feel like you're pushing the line.
Hey,
Come on, man.
I am.
Come on, man.
This is our capital. Let's be respectful to him. There's 4 million people coming in.
Right now, facing 25 years or more. Certain politicians are advocating that these people, quote unquote, just need to be thrown in jail and the key thrown away. All the while, Kamala Harris was advocating over the summer that other people who happen to be black, who were doing far worse, she was going to pay their bail. She was going to get them out of jail. Some prosecutors wasn't prosecuting it. Some judges weren't hearing the cases. Like double talk, double standard, hypocrisies. Why? Because it was mostly peaceful protesting, as they say. Something awful has been released upon this country, y'all. And you know, something funny happened at the polls, too. Something even more sinister than voter fraud. Yeah, I said it. And that was millions of people supporting the very hypocritical policies that in the end don't serve their best interests. At least in the end. It might seem like it is in the beginning. You know, they're going to send $1,400 more or whatever it is. He's just passed this equity, equality law or whatever, which, man, I'm not even going to get into that. Yet, we continue to proudly support the very policies, black people, that threaten our very existence, our own freedom, success, and well-being. Like, I don't understand it. Joe Biden is not a moderate. A lot of people voted for him, even dead people, because they thought he was. But he's not. They done got Trump out. They made him a racist. It was convenient. And he's not, but they made him one so that black people will go vote against their own liberties. Liberty to speak freely. Liberty to own guns. Liberty to make as much money as you want. Like, this is just a few. Why we do this? I don't understand it. Because we all in our emotions. Why are we cutting off our nose in spite of our face? Voting for our own demise. And for you Bible-thumping religious leaders. I don't even want to use the term leaders. I'm just going to say religious folks. Biden says that religious liberties harbor racism and discrimination. Religious liberties. Just because I have my own belief system and I have the liberty by way of the Constitution to exercise what I believe, it's a threat to someone else. Because they happen not to, maybe don't believe what I believe. But if they exercise what they believe and they don't line up with my belief system, it's okay. Double talk, double standard, hypocrisy. He's going to let grown, perverted men back in the women's bathrooms. Yeah, that's coming back. I think he signed it today. Policies over emotion. That's all I've been advocating. That's all I've been telling people. Policies over emotion. If you just think about policies, you can get past the emotions. You can just maybe have some clear conscious thoughts, the ability to think rationally from a place of logic and reason versus emotion, to exercise critical thinking skills and criticize your own thoughts and remove warped views and perspectives that hinder common sense. That's the only way. I mean, and I've had a lot of conversations with a lot of black people before the election and after the election, even today. And we so caught up in this zombie-like thought, going along with the common think tank, thinking like everyone else, allowing our emotions to get the best of us. Not everyone, but most people, most black people that I've spoken to, they've been pimping us for years with this skin color stuff. It's a trigger word. And we continue to fall for it. We're so blind with bitterness and hatred. And for a lot of us, just plain stupidity. Real talk. And for those that it may offend, I'm not even sorry. Because it's stupid to walk in the same bigotry and racist, discriminatory nature that we say that we're against. Grouping people and characterizing them based off their skin color, something they don't have any control over. Fighting racism with racism. Fascism with fascism. Hate with hate. That's what we're doing. Again, falling for the okie doke, hook, line, and sinker. And you know what? I actually do think we need to redeem the soul of America, as Biden likes to say. I think we do. But not like what he's talking about, of course. Through the transformation of our minds, by renewing our minds, putting something new in, and getting rid of this stinky thinking. Getting rid of these old ideologies that promote biases. I had a conversation with a young lady today, and it was quite telling. And it just proves my point about what we're dealing with. So, you know, again, the word of the day is insurrection. So we happen to be talking about what happened again in Washington, D.C. And it was like she was drooling, like at the mouth. Like she had got heated about what happened and holding these racist, white supremacists accountable. And I showed her a few videos of BLM this summer doing what they do. You know, in some instances, the same thing, if not worse. Like they was doing worse. And you know what her response was? She was like, well, That's not BLM. Because they didn't definitively declare that they were BLM in the video. So even though they're in the video, they doing what BLM does, holding the fist up. Some of them even had shirts on that said BLM. Some of them were with people known to be with BLM. She says, well, that's not BLM. And some of the stuff that was done, if not most of it, the damage was done by Antifa. And so then I showed her another video of them doing just that. Declaring that they were BLM. You know, making their demands. And she says to me, well, just because they said it doesn't mean it's so. And I says, okay. Initially, they didn't say it. And you said you couldn't believe it because they didn't say it. Now they're saying it, and you're saying you still can't believe it. She says, well, she went back to the Antifa thing. She's like, well, what about Antifa? And I says, yeah, they did some stuff. You're absolutely right. But let me just ask you this. Let me just ask you this. And I painted a picture for her. I said, let me ask you something. Let's just put aside all the definitive declarations. No one said that they definitively are BLM. No one had any defining clothing that indicated that they were BLM. They were doing stuff, but we don't know who they are affiliated with. So you see a video, and the video are completely white people. There are no black people in the video. And the white people are screaming. You know, you can definitively tell that they're upset. They're screaming, they're hollering, they're going in. But there's no sound. And a subtitle pops up at the bottom of the video. And the subtitle says white supremacists. And so I asked her, would you believe that they were? And she says, probably so. See, the yoke of these biases, this bitterness, this jealousy, this anger that's in our hearts, that's being exploited every day, is keeping us blind, naive, and stupid. All of us who happen to operate with that type of energy. And all because we refuse to develop ourselves. We refuse to forgive. We refuse to forgive and let go. Paul said, I myself am not apprehended, but this one thing I do. Forgetting those things of the past and pushing towards those things that lie ahead. We're in the 21st century, and we're still talking about Jim Crow. We're still talking about slavery. We're still talking about all these things that were terrible. But we can't even move forward because we're still living in the past. It's time to let go. It's time to stop being pimped. It's time to hold these politicians accountable. Stop allowing them to race bait. But sadly to say, we done empowered them. It's worked so many times that I don't see them letting go of it. I don't see them going, you know, going out without a fight. Now, we've invited socialism into the, you know, to the picture. They have power because of a flawed system. And some of them don't want to give up that power. And so they're going to be willing to prosecute whoever they need to keep that power. But thank God we know who exactly is in power, who has all power. I strongly suggest, especially those that believe, those that are a part of the kingdom, those of us that haven't subscribed to this ideology of being oppressed, and everyone that doesn't look like me is racist. We need to be praying up. We also need to be preparing. Because I don't believe that now Trump is gone, that it's going to quench that thirst to cast blame and to exploit any and everyone that they feel, first and foremost, is a threat, and secondly, that they feel they can use to stay in power, all the while not doing nothing. You guys take care. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and like. Be blessed.